Okay, so you have okay, so you have totally 5 questions, and the total marks for this will be 10. So every question carries 2 marks. So you now many students have a fear for this particular topic, that this particular topic is the topic is little bit difficult, or do not have the confidence for this topic. So please ensure that all this misconceptions which you have for this topic, you have to remove that misconceptions. The topic is easy. The only thing that you have to do is you have to study the concepts very well and equally give importance to the question. So once it is done, this topic also you will find easy when you are solving the previous year papers as well as when you are solving the mock test. Now let's understand the syllabus for this topic. So syllabus starts with the research, that is meaning of, so in research what exactly they have asked us to go for: meaning of research, types of research, characteristics. Now here with respect to characteristics, you may get a statement question. In types of research, you get a different types of question. Positivism and post-positivistic approach. It's a new, this is a part which is added as a new topic of the syllabus. I mean to say, as per the new syllabus, this is a new topic which is added. There is a question on this, so we have to understand this particular topic also very well: positivism and post-positivistic approach. So today our basic intention is to complete part 1, that is first topic, subunit we can say, subtopic, sorry. Then we have methods of research: experimental, descriptive, historical, qualitative and quantitative methods. Today we are going to focus on them also, but again we will be repeating methods in detail in the later lectures also. Then we have steps. You get a definite question on steps of research. Now the way of asking the questions is bit different, but otherwise you always get the steps in in a different sequence. You have to ensure that you're putting them back into the sequence. So steps of research is a question which you have to remember very well. Now thesis and article writing, that is format and styles of referencing. So here it has been seen that you are been given the styles and you are supposed to recognize the style as per the question. So this particular topic, students little bit are lethargic in here because they do not understand the styles very well. They just keep on reading it just in a casual way, but then you will be losing 2 marks with your casual approach. So you have to ensure the styles very well. For the styles, how the citation, how the author's name, how the publication, what exactly, whether the title or the journal title is put in an inverted comma. So you have to understand those things very clearly, which are very factual. It is, you can't just do it at the last minute and you can't get the question. No, so you have to know very well the system, the style of referencing the citation. So it is very, very important. Then you have applications of ICT in research. So yes, there is also a question on this, and definitely one question is there on the research ethics. So if you see methods and research, obviously research and research method, one question definitely come. And from this remaining 4 topics, you have seen a question every time, whether it is a steps, whether it is article or thesis writing, whether it is application of ICT and research ethics. So these questions are very common in research. And some questions of research, like for example the question on research ethics, they have a common keyword also. So when you revise the previous year question papers, these keywords are very common. So you will see those keywords very well in research ethics. You will automatically understand. But now since last 2 cycles, they are giving importance to plagiarism also. So you have to, in last cycle, that is in 2021, the plagiarism question was there. So there are different ways of asking plagiarism question. So you have to be thorough with the topic of plagiarism, which we are going to do in the class. Okay. So yes. So now let's start with the term research. So these things are very theoretical, but if they are little bit twisted in the question, it becomes difficult for you to appear the question of characteristics also, of research also. So just ensure that you are listening to this particular part little bit alertly, so that a basic question on research, you should not lose marks. Okay. So the word research is derived from the Latin word, meaning is to know. It is a systematic and replicable process which identifies, now this is very, very important, which identifies as well as defines the problem. So what is the main intention of research or objective of research? Not only to identify the problem, but also to define the problem or to find out the solution for the problem. It employs well-designed method to collect the data and analyze the data. It disseminates the findings to contribute to the generalizable knowledge. So if you see in that 2-3 sentences itself, they have given, the full entire steps also. So it's like, identifying the problem, defining the problem, giving a solution to the problem, collecting the data, analyzing the data, going for the findings, okay, and then generalizing the things, generalizing with the help of your conclusions, findings or recommendations. So this is what basically happens in research. So research starts with a problem and it ends with a generalization with respect to collected data or with respect to the findings of data. So this you have to keep in mind, because in steps sometimes the things are twisted in such a way that it becomes difficult for you to arrange them in the sequence. So you have to little bit be careful. So going with the definition of research, you are not going to get any definitions, but you have to understand what does the research means. So basically research is to discover the facts by scientific way, or it is a scientific study, and to critically investigate the course of critical investigation. So this, the facts are discovered by investigation and which is done in a scientific way. So there is a systematic way, there is an organized way to start a research and to enter research. You can't just, randomly pick up something and go for a research. No, it has to be in an organized form. It is a systematic investigation to establish the facts or to collect information. So the investigation which happens, which we talk about, in the form of scientific study. So this investigation also has to be in a systematic manner, in an organized manner, where you collect the information on the particular subject or maybe on the particular topic or on the valid area of research which you have selected to, go ahead with. It is a systemized efforts to gain knowledge. Now see this word, systematic effort, systematic investigation, systematic study or scientific study. It means in research there is a definite process, a procedure, a logical procedure you can say, which as a researcher, it's your responsibility to follow. You can't just straight away, go to any step or do anything and say that you have done a research. No, it won't be a valid research. So in order to make your research valid, you have to go through all this systematic process in order to come up with your best results. So research is the manipulation of the things, concepts or symbols for the purpose of generalizing to extend or to verify the knowledge, or to come up with a construction of a theory or a practice of an art. So whatever you do, whether you construct a theory, where you go for a practical research, whether you verify the knowledge, it's all about what? It's all about research. So research has this sub things which are happening one by one, or which happens in a sequence. So now what are the objectives of research? So let's understand the objectives of research point format: to gain familiarity with a process, that is a phenomena, or to achieve new insights. Now see, research can be something where something is added up to an existing thing. So here we just, first of all you have to know the process, that is you have to gain the familiarity. Then something extra will be added to which is already existed, or something complete new knowledge will be found out. So in both the cases we say that it is a research. So it studies with this object in view, that is you called it as what? Exploratory or formulative research. So we are going to study both of them in detail, but if you go with this process, such research can be termed as either you are exploring something or you're formulating, you're building up something. It portrays accurately the characteristics of an individual or a situation or a group in which research is to be conducted. So we can say that it is in the view of what? It's in the view of descriptive research, where it describes a particular individual, maybe a situation or maybe a group. It determines the frequency with which something occurs or which is associated with something else. It means that it helps to understand or to study the object in the form of diagnosis. So where like for example, when you're talking about diagnostic research, you need to diagnose, you know, to know what happens, when it happens, okay, how it occurs, and accordingly you have to get it associated with a certain things in order to come up with a remedy. So in diagnostic research, you have to go to the root cause. At the same time, you have to go or you have to find a remedy in order to make the research cycle complete. So never the research is left without a solution. In fact, that is not called as a research. So research starts with a problem but definitely ends with a solution. No research goes, unsolved. So that we can call it as the research process or the research cycle is not completed. Now, to test a hypothesis, that is a tentative statement, to test a hypothesis of the causal relationship between the variables. So this is called as hypothesis testing. Now, what is hypothesis? Hypothesis is a tentative statement which is made at the start of the research. Now, with the help of this tentative statement, you need to prove that which statement will be accepted or which statement will be rejected. So that will be only possible after you are ready with your findings. After your findings only you will be able to tell that which hypothesis, in fact which hypothesis will be accepted or which hypothesis will be rejected. All that depends upon your responses, upon your findings, upon your analysis in order to get the rejection or acceptance of hypothesis. So now, coming to the characteristics of research. So now see, this characteristics looks like a normal points over here, but these characteristics are also twisted in a smart way so that students should definitely have a doubt. So you should be very well aware that characteristics of research results into what. So characteristics of research is solution oriented. It means that finding out a solution for a problem is one of the characteristics. Okay, so I'm repeating, finding out a solution for a problem is one of the characteristics. So we know that defining the problem is also characteristics, finding out a solution is also characteristics. So you should remember that the nature of research, you can either call it as nature, you can call it as characteristics, you can call it as features or attributes. So how is research defined? It is defined with a problem, and it also has a solution to the problem. It is something which is logical. We studied very well systematic, scientific. So obviously you need to follow certain logical steps. You can't just go on with the flow. So it has to be logical. There has to be a purpose or objective in order to do a research. Without an aim or purpose or objective, it's not possible to do research. There has to be equity, that is no impartiality will be entertained. So it means that every research, if you are putting the element of impartial or biasness, then it is not called a research. So it has to be equal at all the parameters or at all the parts. There should be no biasness or impartiality involved in the research. Accuracy, it means there has to be an accurate result. You can't say 50-50. Okay, it means something has went wrong. So either it has to be completely yes or it has to be completely no. That again depends upon whether you have done any manipulation. In fact, you should not do, because that is against the research norms, but your research should be accurate. Research has to be systematic. Now we have studied very well systematic. It is a steps process which a researcher has to follow in order to come down to the conclusion. Whatever data you have collected, those data has to be verifiable. It means it has to be validated, and your research should be empirical. So something which is based on the recent societal issues or a problem or recent happenings. So a research is an empirical process that involves the data. The results are based on observation, you can say, or statistical forms, whichever is involved. Research rejects assumptions and dogma as method of established knowledge. So there is no scope for assumption at all in research. It only accepts the things when they are verified by the observation. So research does not involve anything which is based on assumption. So on assumption, if you are trying to prove it, according to research, it is of no value. So research does not has any value for you can say as assumption. So there is no value of assumption in research. Is it clear? So now, based on these 3 slides, whatever we have done, I'll just repeat it once again. We have started with research aptitude. We have understood, those who are late, for them I'm just repeating. We have started with research aptitude as the fresh batch for UGC paper 1. Students who also are preparing for SET also can, this portion is same, so you can just contribute, listen carefully. So when we talk about research basically what we have to study, the first topic which we have started today is meaning, types, characteristics, positivism and post-positivistic approach. So under that we started with the definition or the meaning of the term research. We understood certain definitions, but it is very, very clear that no one is going to ask you any definition in the paper. Only in these definitions, I just made some important words. I highlighted the important words so that it hits your mind very well, either in the form of steps or in the form of definition. Then objectives of research we studied. So objectives of research, we get into types, but as I said, I am going to do types separately. So we will again have a look at it. Then we read characteristics of research. Each and every characteristics we have studied very well. There is a simple question on this topic, but sometimes students get confused. So please remember, research has to be solution oriented, has to be logical, has to be objective, it should be impartial, it has to be accurate, it has to be systematic, it is to be verifiable, and as well as it has to be empirical based on real life evidence. Okay, so till here we have completed. Now we will move towards the role and significance of research. So what exactly the role research has to play, or why research is important. So first of all, research plays a vital role in studying, in understanding and in solving the problem. Now how? Now see, we just now I said that you have to define a problem and you have to solve a problem. Okay, but in order to solve the problem, or in order to come up with a solution for the problem, you need to study the problem first. You need to understand the problem. Then only these things are going to happen. It is not that without reading or without understanding the problem, you can come directly to the solution. No. So for that you need an ability of studying as well as understanding. Research is a process of obtaining dependable solutions through, see here also it is repeated now, it is through systematic and scientific investigation. So they give lot of emphasis on systematic and scientific investigations, which provides inferences and generalization about the future happenings. It means what is exactly going to happen. Obviously, it may not be 101% the correct. The reason I said that it may not be correct, because it depends upon what type of responses you have got. Have people taken it very casually? Are people serious while filling your responses? On that, majority of the results are based. All private and government organizations form their policies on the basis of research conducted. So the research also helps the organizations as well as policy to go ahead with their roadmap. So research plays an important role in the organization, not only for the academics but also out of academics. So basically in general, research plays an important role that you have to keep in mind. Okay. Now, yes. Now see, here I have already taught you the objectives. Okay, this slide we have already completed objectives, but there are different ways of objectives where these are the sentences which were in the form of questions, previous year questions. So I have purposely written it down so you can remember, and when you are solving the previous year questions, you can definitely recall this particular objectives. So the objectives of a research as per your university papers: to discover new facts, as I said. It can be complete new insight, or it can be adding something to the existing one. To verify and test the important facts. To study, to analyze, I mean to say, the process or phenomena to identify the cost and effect relationship. So it gives importance, or it gives more of importance to cause and effect relationship. To develop new scientific tools, theories and concepts. To understand and solve scientific and non-scientific problems. to find out solutions to the scientific, non-scientific and social problems to overcome and solve the problems according to or which are occurring in our day-to-day life. So it is not only restricted to special problems, it is also, you know, applicable in our routine life, in our routine time. So please remember, these are the sentences which I have collected from previous year question papers. So many times these sentences have been asked and you were supposed to recognize the objectives of research. So you should keep this in mind very well, to discover the facts, to test the important facts, to analyze the phenomena, to develop scientific. Now see, here you don't have to. Now we know verification is one of the characteristics. Analyzing is also one of the characteristics. Scientific attitude, we have already studied. Research is something which is scientific and systematic. To solve the problems scientifically, okay, if not non-scientific problems, you know, ways can be found out. To help solutions to scientific, non-scientific and with social problems, and to overcome the day-to-day problems. So research is used in day-to-day life also, along with the rest of the aspects. Okay, so this is something which you have to keep in mind very well. Now if you want to generalize the objective, what I have done, I have generalized the objective in 3 forms: theoretical, factual, applied. Okay, so if I am saying theoretical objectives, these are the objectives. Now listen very carefully. Very, very important. This is again in statement question they can give you. So when I am saying that theoretical objectives, now what do you mean by theoretical objectives? These objectives can formulate a new theory. Okay, it can result into the formulation of new theory. Basic knowledge by exploring the association between variables and between different variables. So there is an exploration, or exploration is it can happen by connecting, or you know, by associating those variables in a different way. So what impact the variables have on each other, that is one of the aspect of theoretical objective. And to use in fundamental research, you can use this theoretical objective, or this theoretical objective can be utilized in fundamental research. Factual objectives, when we talk, it talks about the facts, it talks used in history, and it explains the exploratory research, what exactly the exploration is about. So that gets considered under factual objectives. And talking about applied objectives, use of already existing theories to the new situations, that is in the form of applied research. So please remember, applied, that is application. Factual means it talks about the facts, figures, new numbers, and theoretical, it means it talks about the concepts. Okay, so this also way you can keep the objectives in mind. Theoretical, that is concepts; factual, that is numbers; applied, it means in the base of application. Now, yes, a very important topic, that is a qualitative and quantitative research. Mr. Khan, variables, it means, you know, based on which your research is, you know, you're going to conduct a research. Like for example, before giving you a proper meaning or definition, I'll give you an example. So suppose if you are take an example that you want to study the relationship between, take two variables. Now what is that variables? That variable is nothing but a number, a quality or a quantity. Like for example, you want to study the relation between tea and sleep, or coffee and sleep. Okay, so that is called as what? It is called as variable. So variable, it means that, so tea and coffee here are two variables. So now if I go with a proper meaning, variable is a characteristics, it is a number, or it is a quantity that can be measured, or it is counted, and that is formed what? In the form of data. So in research, a variable is taken as a consideration of data. So it depends upon what type of research you are doing and what are your variables. Okay, so variables will definitely differ from research area, one research area to another research area. So what is your research area? Depending upon that, you will decide your variables. And in that, because variables we are going to do in the next class. Okay, so variables, please again remember that variables can be, you can take any number of variables to do a research, but more and more number of research variables you take, you are going to complicate your research. So it's better always to have a minimum number of variables and have a clear study. I hope it is very clear with you. If not, please let me know. So yes, we are talking about qualitative and quantitative research. So qualitative research is something which involves quality. Okay. Quantitative research is something which involves quantity. Now see, quality and quantity. So quality gives more emphasis on what? More emphasis on characteristics. Whereas quantitative research gives more emphasis on numbers. Okay, numbers. So when I use the word qualitative research, it is used for qualitative analysis, that is understanding of problems which cannot be quantified. Means you can't quantify them, you can't count them in the numbers. Take an example of like for example emotions you take, okay, then you take sentiments. So if you are doing a research on emotions, I mean to understand the emotion level or sentiments, so those things will be considered under qualitative research. Whereas quantitative research is something which is used to quantify a problem or attitude or behavior or opinion. Quantify. So like for example, with what number, with what quantity. So when we talk about let us take an example. Yes, as I said, you didn't hear when I said at the starting, today we are going to do types. Why? Because it is related. So types in detail also we are going to do in the coming lectures, but today I am going to give you little bit of explanation, because on types there are definitely question and students get again confused with the types. So I said in the start of the class itself that we are going to do the first point, and today we are going to do types also. Okay, so yes, now which is something which can be quantified. I have answered yes. I hope you understood. You are able to hear me clearly. I said yes, but as I said that we are going to do it in some part today and some part in the coming lectures also. So yes, the qualitative research has something in the form of open-ended questions. Now what do you mean by this open-ended questions? Open-ended questions, it means these questions are descriptive in nature. Okay, you do not restrict your responses over here. They have a free choice to speak about it. So it has an approach inductive, that is specific to general. Whereas quantitative comes with an close-ended question, that is with a deductive approach from general to specific. So when I say close-ended, so close-ended, it means you restrict your responses over here. Like for example, with yes, no answers, agree, strongly agree, disagree. So here you have a limited restriction to them. They have to give their answers with that restriction itself. Whereas in open-ended, you are giving them a open platform to describe the things, okay, in the form of description. So here I have taken an example, small example, to make you understand qualitative and quantitative. With the same example I have taken so that it becomes easier for you to understand. So when I say study conducted to know about why people suffer from mental disorders, how these affect the personal life of a person, and the effectiveness of medical facilities, the hardship people face while availing this facility. So see, if you see a study conducted about why people suffer, why people suffer with mental disorders, how it affects the life of the person, and the effectiveness or the hardship. If you see the quantitative example, study conducted to know how many. So here it is why, the reason, the characteristics. But here if you see how many, in maths now we have studied this term. So how many, it talks about numbers. So how many people are suffering from mental disorder? How much? So how much, it means they are interested to know the cost, the expenses for the treatment. And at the same time, they are talking about the number of doctors and nurses who are available for this medical facilities, a hardship, I mean to say the effective, in order to make the people free, what ratio of doctors and nurses are available. So if you see in quantitative, we get everything, every answer has been found in the form of numbers or numerical aspect, whereas in qualitative, it's put more of the emphasis on characteristics. Now we have qualitative. So qualitative research, is basically semi-structured or unstructured, whereas quantitative is usually a proper structured questionnaire. Okay, questionnaire you say, or you can say the method of data collection, but in qualitative it is semi-structured or completely unstructured. It can be instant, it can be on the spot, it depends upon what situation you are into. Fine. Now, yes, apart from this we have we have fundamental research and applied research. Now, what is fundamental research? Fundamental, by the word itself you can understand, something which is called as the basic research, or something which is called as, you know, the pure research. You also call it as pure research. So which is the one which is used to generalize and to make addition to the existing knowledge. Okay, fundamental, funda, that is your base. It is conducted for formulating the theories and it has a great scope of application. Whereas your applied research is that research which is used for a specific issue. Okay, application, which is used for an application base. It is conducted to find out a particular problem or to analyze a particular issue. So applied research is either to get something or, you know, to come up with a specific issue. Whereas fundamental, it will help you to add something to the existing knowledge. Okay, that is addition, it will be done. Whereas here it will come up with something specific with reference to any issue. Fine. Then now structured research and unstructured. Now these words may not be new for you, so this you may be finding it little easier. When we say structured research, this is the research, okay, which has a proper objective, a design, a proper research design, a sample, which are all pre-decided. It means which are pre-planned. Unstructured, you say it is completely opposite, which is very flexible, which is not pre-decided. Okay, it can be, as I said, it can be instant. So in structured research, quantitative research is used to know the extent of the problem, till what extent the problem is. Okay, so you make a use of quantitative research. So how much is the extent, what is the percentage, what is the law? So you get all the things here in the numbers. Whereas in unstructured, it is a qualitative research to know more or to focus on the characteristics. Okay, so because just now we even did this in the qualitative and quantitative. So something which is structured, can be found or can be gained with the help of numbers or new numbers. That is quantitative. Whereas something which is unstructured, we are more into qualitative, and that consists of a qualitative research. So we are more focusing on the characteristics. Okay. Now see, students find this very difficult. So as I said, I'll be taking this again and again. We have next 10 days now, but let me make you clear, once or twice if you hear, then it will be little easier for you to tap any questions out of this topic. Okay. Now, coming to the conceptual and empirical research. So conceptual research, which is something which is based on the concepts, which is based on the theory, which is based on the intellectual. Okay, whereas empirical research is something which is based on what? Which is based on the experiments to test. Okay, to test, to perform. So something which is very live, something which is a real life situation. Conceptual research, it is based, as I said, on theoretical approach. So it is used for the development of new theories or to redefine or restructure the existing theories. Whereas in empirical research, it is based on practical, as I said, or experimental. So many a times student gets confused with this word also. Empirical, as I said, in characteristics also, which is based on real life, which is based on real situations. Fine? Yes. Next, coming to descriptive and analytical research, you please focus main thing on their names. Okay, so you don't have to mug up anything or by heart anything. So when we say descriptive, it is undertaken or it is defined simply to explain what has happened or what is occurring or what has happened, to describe a problem or to describe a phenomena or to describe a situation. Whereas analytical research explains why. So this is an answer for the question why, whereas descriptive is what. So if you keep this keywords handy in your handy notes, it will be easier for you. Okay. Then description, classification, comparison are used to describe this phenomena. So we use this keywords, classification, comparison, description, in order to get Okay. Yes, fundamental and conceptual. Okay, I'll come back to that. Yes, it looks same. No, it's not same. Just give me this this particular. Let me complete this particular slide, and then I'll come back to your conceptual and this one fundamental. Okay. Now, when we talk about, right now we are talking about what? We are talking about descriptive and we are talking about analytical research. So I'll just once again I'll just clearly go through it very well. So when we talk about descriptive research, anyone is having any doubt which I have completed in an earlier slide, please put it in the chat box. Once I have done with this, I will come back to your doubts. Okay. So yes, when we talk about when we talk about descriptive research, it is something which explains what. Okay. Whereas when we talk about analytical research, it is something which explains us about what? Which explains about why. So that why makes you makes you think or makes you realize the problem or think over it analytically. Now, when we talk about descriptive research, it is with the help of the keywords like description, classification, comparison, whereas analytical research, it talks about cause and effect relationship. So cause and effect relationship is explained very well in analytical research. So let us take an example. When we talk about descriptive research, the example here is analyzing the trend of prices of pulses. Anything, you can take any product here. Whereas in analytical research, it analyzes the reasons behind that change in the price. It means it makes us, it forces us to think. And whereas here, it gives us, the results. In the form of description, it gives us the result. And what was the cause behind that we will able to understand in analytical research. So hope this analytical and descriptive is clear with everyone, so that I can go with one student's doubt with a earlier slide. Okay. So when we talk about, when we talk about fundamental research, see, in fundamental research, we have some basic rules, basic law, basic principle, basic system, which we have to, follow. Because it is, as I said, it is a basic research, it is a foundation, it is a pure research. Now, when I say concept, so concept can be based on our experience, our perception, our imagination, our generalization. Are you getting, Mohammed? I hope this is the basic difference what you understand between fundamental, it means what, fundamental. It means it is based on certain principles. We have to do the research with that principles, in the boundary of those principles. We can't change the rules, we can't change the norms. But in concept, we have a liberty of, understanding the things or taking it as per our imagination, perception, and we can go ahead with the research. Okay, so if you see over here, conceptual research is establishing a concept or a theory based on our observations or intellectual. So I can say that based on our imagination or perception. Whereas in fundamental, it is something which we have to go with certain rules, regulations and principles. I hope it is very clear. Just let me know so that we can go ahead. Okay. Anyone still is having doubt, you can put up any point in the chat box. I can just refer it. Okay. Now, apart from this, you have different words. I mean to say experimental research. When we talk about experimental research, you get a question on experimental, you get a question on ex post facto. So don't worry. As I said, tomorrow I'm just giving you a gist of these words. Every now and then one research topic, one type of research I will take in detail, so that it is little bit concept wise you are stronger in this areas. Okay. So when I say experimental, it establishes the cost and effect relationship. So whenever it is conducted to study the relationship between the variables. Okay. So now variables, it means what variables are you applying in your research area, either by manipulating them or keeping them constant. Now see, if you want a result, okay, you need to go for some manipulation, increase it, decrease it. So that happens in the experimental research. So effect is observed in an experiment due to a cause. So you can see the effect due to what? Cause. So example given over here is effects of change packaging on the sales of regular biscuit brand. So it can be anything. I mean to say effect of inflation, due to pandemic, the situation of economy. So effect of pandemic on economy. So you can see the effect, okay, which is observed due to certain cause. So that is, studied under what? It is studied under experimental research. So in experimental research, basically you have to find out the cause and effect. Okay, what is the effect because of which cause, and that relationship, when you understand, that is nothing but it is with the help of experimental research. But at the same time, here, suppose if you are not getting the effect, okay, so you have to, certain manipulations are done in order to get that, effects. That is observed even in the experimental research. Fine. Now, when we talk about ex post facto research, something which explains how independent variable affects the dependent variable. It is also called as quasi-experiment. This was one of the question in previous year. Okay, as the participants are grouped on the basis of the characteristics of researchers' interest. So something which has happened, which has already happened, ex post facto. So something which has already happened, okay, in order to understand the relationship between the variables again. Okay, so that is how the independent variable affects the dependent variable. So you can also call it as, it is called as quasi-experimental, okay, wherein it depends upon what? It depends upon the researcher's interest, but something which has took place earlier. So your example I have quoted is how adult education influence the confidence in adults. So now, for example, what type of confidence build up with the help of education? So that I mean to say, previously and now, something which has happened previously and now, how the things have changed. So when you're comparing that, you can say that you're studying an ex post facto research. Fine. Now, yes, a very regular question nowadays since last 3 cycles for NET was ethnographic research. Now here also students make lot of mistake. Ethnographic research basically is the research which is based on a society, a study of the society, culture or group. So your students know now what happens is that in ethnographic research, you have to always, now when you're revising the previous year question papers, whenever you get a question on ethnographic research, you have to understand the research is what. Is it a community? Is it a society? Is it a culture? Is it a group? Now in one of the previous year question paper, I mean to say the question was based on the group of students staying in an hostel. So that is a group, but here there just to confuse students wrote, no, it is experimental. So you have to please understand what is the, I mean to say, basically it is what is found out. The study is found out between whom. So if it is something related to the society, culture or group in depth with observation method, then that is called as ethnographic research. So it helps to understand or share the experience of the subject. Subject, it means your responses. Now we have next is the last is historical research. So historical research is a research which gives insights or conclusion about the past occurrence. Okay. Historical research entitles more than simply complying and presenting the factual information, which also requires interpretation of the information. So historical research is a research which is more of qualitative technique. And there is nowadays in this recent 3 to 4 cycles, I have seen there are regular questions either on ethnographic, either on historical or ex post facto. So whenever you are, and always go for papers, when you are revising previous year papers, please go by the reverse order. Like go with the latest paper and then go on, with the old paper. So this will give you a good idea to understand in recent years what topics, make a note on what topics question are coming more frequently. So types of research, there is definitely a question. Fine. Now, yes. Now we are going to study positivism and post-positive approach. Okay. Now here also I will try my level best to make it simpler and easier. But still, if you have a doubt, if you're not able to understand, don't worry. I will take this topic in the next lecture also. I will start my next lecture with again same topic. But today I'm just helping you to understand what exactly is positivism and post-positivistic approach. Okay. So as per the new syllabus, this is one of the new topic which has been added up. Okay, now you have to, there is a question on this, so you have to be careful. So we'll go, systematically. First we will go with positivism, and then we'll go with post-positivism. Okay, so when we talk about positivism, okay, it is something which believes in reality, which can be measured, and hence it is called as quantitative. Okay, or in other words, you can say that it is based on what? It is based on evidence or based on reality that can be interpreted. So I've written over here, it believes a true and objective reality that can be studied by applying the methods of principle. So something which is, which is with the help of what? A realization that can be in the form of observation, including the objective reality. Okay, something which comes with this form, or you can also call it as which can be measured, is called as quantitative approach. In the form of quantitative approach is called as the positivism approach. Now it denies, please, now this is very, very, very important. In positivism, you can see that it denies only types of research. For what? I didn't get. Types of research you should know means you're asking for the whole research syllabus. No, there are a lot of things. I actually didn't get your question. What you mean by, ma'am, only these types of research? Okay, what I listed, you mean to say that? That's what your question is? Yes, what I have listed is enough for you. There are 1 or 2 extra things which I'll be taking it in the extra miscellaneous part. Fine, Mr. Khan? I hope that is what your query was. Okay, so anything, please put it down. So when we talk about positivism, yes, positivism denies intuition, and it consists only objectivity, which is in the form of reality. Okay, real, that is objective reality. So it is based only on scientific study. But now when we go, I hope you, and yes, if you have got it, I hope I have answered it properly what you were asking. So yes, what I have given, that much is enough, and in miscellaneous we will study 1 or 2 extra things that I will tell you, that you have to remember this also. Okay, meanwhile this much is enough for you. Post-positivism, when we talk about, post-positivism believes in creation of new knowledge and able to support committed movement. Now here, theories, hypothesis and value of researcher also is taken into consideration. It is concerned, I mean to say, when we talk about post-positivism, it is most concerned with subjectivity, which is, which is based on experience. Now, like for example, I'll just give you 1 or 2 more examples, simple sentences to make post-positivism clear. So actually post-positivism is something where the answers are been, I mean to say, you get the answers for your research or approach by recognizing them in the form of theories or knowledge which is developed by the theorist. Okay, so in this particular, I mean to say, in simple terms, if I use simple terms to make you understand post-positivism, it is something which is based on the theories, which is based on the background, knowledge, values of the researcher, which can be influenced on the basis of his experience. So here if you see in post-positivism, it is more on the basis of experience of the researcher based on the theories. But in positivism, it is basically or purely on the scientific study. It only takes into consideration the reality. No theories, no tentative statement or no experience. So that is the main thing which differs positivism from post-positivism. So again, I'll repeat, and if you want this particular topic, as I said, does not, okay, don't worry Mohammed, because what happens, this topic when you're listening for the first time, no, you do not get it. Again, I'm explaining it again, but still if you are still not getting it, don't worry, I will start my next lecture from this topic also, okay, from this topic only. But right now listen, I'm just again coming. Now I'm not reading anything from the slide, I'm just first making you explain properly. See, positivism and post-positivism, these are the 2 approaches of research. Now, approaches, it means that in positivism, like as per this particular approach, you do or you believe in certain thing only when they are, based on reality or something which is scientifically proved. You do not rely on the intuitions, you do not rely on anything. You only accept the facts when they are proved scientifically, when they are proved logically, when they are proved, with the help of certain realistic measures. Like for example, where you have the facts in front of you, and based on those facts you try to accept that approach or research. So that is called as positivism. Now against that, if I say post-positivism, so post-positivism is something which is based, I mean to say it is a part of a research, but that research is something which is based on the theories, which is based on the tentative statements, but they are based on the experience which is being shared or experienced by the researcher. So like for example, suppose, now let us take an example. Suppose I am doing a research, okay, on behaviorism. I am doing a research on human behavior, okay. So if I am doing a research based on post-positivism, I will consider the theories, only behaviorism theories. Now some theories may be outdated, may be absolute, but what is my experience, what as in researcher, what is my experience, what is my my ideas, my ideologies, that I will put in my approach, okay. So basically it has happened via me, so my experience is more reflecting in that approach. Whereas means my intuition, you can say over here, my intuition you can see, okay. So I have done it only from my cognitive ability, from my intellectual. But if I talk about positivism, I have not taken anyone's consideration. Whatever I have observed, whatever is the reality, whatever is scientifically results which I have got with the help of calculation, okay, I am showing that. That is the main difference between positivism and post-positivism. Is at least it is little bit clear to you now, or still you have a confusion? Yes, Mohammed, waiting for your reply so that next class I will know how much deep to go if you are still not able to able to connect it. Yes, can I get your revert back in the chat box so that I will understand what type of more examples I need to add or how to commit, so that you can get it more easier. I'm just waiting for your revert back. And any other student apart from him, if any other students are still confused, so next class I will make sure that I bring more examples and I explain this approach again from the base, if you have still not understood or if you have still not clearly. Okay, don't worry. So now at least keep this in mind. Okay, I'm just giving you some gist. Keep that only in mind. I'll just clear the ink so that at least you go with something from the lecture. So when I say positivism, okay, you just keep in mind it is something, the research is based on scientific study. When I'm saying post-positivism, the research is based on experience of what? Of the researcher. Only keep this in mind. So something which is scientifically proved and something which is proved with the help of experience of the researcher. In the next class, I will take again as the base and I will start it. Okay, fine. Now steps of research I am not doing because it will be a heavy dose for you people. I'll take this also in the next class, don't worry. And the positivism, so next class we will start our lecture from positivism and post-positivism, because that is not clear. So I'll give in or bring in sufficient examples and help you to clear that topic, okay, because this is very important topic. If you're not clear, I won't leave it. I will come back with this only. Fine. So yes, that's all for the day today. So apart from Global Online University, apart from UGC NET Paper 1 classes, we also have lectures for Gujarat SET, West Bengal SET, KSET and APSET, which has a model about full syllabus mock test, PDF solution. Yes, it is based on real life situation, correct, but which is with the help of scientific study. Okay, it is real life situation, not based off any experience. In that also you use your scientific way in order to understand the situation. Okay, that much you remember. Fine. So yes, which comes with the help of full syllabus mock test, PDF solution with answer notes, MCQs, that is 2500 plus MCQs, video lectures at a cost of 999, and you have the contact numbers given below. If you want, you can please get in touch with them in case if you want any further information. And yes, in our next class we will start with the topic that is Mohammed, I didn't get what applied and action explains difference. Can you just be clear with that? You want applied research and action research. Okay, fine, noted. This we will take in the next class then. Fine, no problem. I'll discuss this also, this doubt of yours, as well as post positivism we will start the next class with. Okay, that's all for the day. Thank you everyone, and see you all in the next class tomorrow and day after tomorrow. Please attend the previous year question papers class of Zeba ma'am for research, so it will help you to understand what level of preparation do you need more for this topic. Okay, thank you everyone, have a great night and see you in the next class.